Hey guys, so this is going to be a pretty quick story time, but I have talked about this a long time ago, and somehow it's really funny that every time I bring this up, people are like, wait, that's a real thing that happened to you, and how did it happen? And I'm bringing it up now because I've been traveling so much, and I have Minecon and TwitchCon, and I just got done with all kinds of conventions this season, PAX, and traveling all around the country, some of which you guys got to see in the video that I posted last week of all the stuff that I did over the summer. So I, at one point, there is no confirmation, I was never directly told, but I would, with a pretty good amount of reason, assume that I was actually on some kind of TSA watch list, which I know might sound crazy to some people, and actually talking, I don't know if you guys know who Dodger Dex Bonus is, but she had a similar situation happen to her as well. So how I know, or why I think that I was on a TSA watch list, because when I right around the time that I started working for Twitch about 2.5 years ago, I was traveling back and forth for pretty much the first time ever. I hadn't really traveled much in my adult life, and then here I was traveling, every other week back and forth from LA to here and San Francisco to here, and I was on planes all the time. And for the first couple months, it was fine. I would go on a plane. I didn't have pre-check. They hadn't really done that back then. But I had pre-check. I was going back and forth. Really no issues traveling. And on one specific trip, I got pulled aside for security, and we'll get there, and had an experience with them. And then every time after that flying for a period of about 6 months, I had trouble. I had a host of trouble, planes, all kinds of stuff, but specifically with TSA. And the things that would happen were every time I would go through a body scanner, I would somehow have metal in my hair, and my hair would be like this. It'd be down, no bobby pins, no even hair product, and they'd say I had metal in my hair. I've been told I have metal in my thigh. I have metal in all kinds of places, and it got to the point where I would go to the airport wearing like a cotton tank top, a sports bra, and yoga pants and flip-flops because I was so tired of having them pull me aside for my jeans or for whatever it was. So even still with those kind of precautions and being that kind of a traveler, I was still getting told that I had metal, which would then make them have to give me extra searches. They would go through my luggage. They would body pat me down every time. And this was every time I flew in all airports, not just my home airport. This was in LAX, this was in SFO, this was in St. Louis, this was in Miami even one time. This was everywhere. And so I kind of got used to this practice, and the one time specifically that it really stuck out in my mind was I had even tweeted about it. I'm sure someone could probably go back and find it. But I had tweeted that I got through the gate, the TSA check, the TSA, monitors, whatever, and they didn't detain me, they didn't pull my luggage aside, they didn't body pat me down, and I got through, and I was like, maybe my bad luck is over. And literally, I couldn't make this up. I tweeted it, I was in line, I was 2 people away from giving my boarding pass to the agent and getting on the plane, and here come 2 TSA agents to the gate. They walk up, they verbally announce, not even a loudspeaker, we're randomly screening passengers, and they went right to me and me only and pulled me out of the line, and then told me that they were going to search my bags, because I don't check my bags. I always bring my bags with me because I don't like to wait for them and whatever. So they pulled me aside and they checked my bags and they let everyone else go, and then I finally got to board on my flight. And I was like, this is so bogus. It's like they realized that they had forgotten to scan me, and then they came back and rescanned me. And they didn't check. I think that they might have had people open their backpacks, but they actually took my suitcase, they rifled through everything, they opened my backpack, they looked at my lap. I mean, this was like a thorough scan in front of all of the other passengers on the plane. And it was very awkward. It was very weird. I've never seen that or had that happen in the hundreds of flights that I've taken. I have never at any other point ever seen that happen. It was just, to me, that's the only time I've never even seen it happen to other passengers. And so after that point, I thought for sure there has to be a list. I have to be on a list somehow. Every time I'm flying, every other week, I'm getting stopped and detained. And there were some pretty funny moments where in Miami, the one gentleman who he said I had metal in my hair. And I just like leaned my head forward and was like, can you just feel this so that I can go on my way? Like, I don't have time to mess around with this and I'm over this. And he was like, no, male TSA agents aren't allowed to touch female passengers, and so you have to wait for a female TSA agent to get here. It should be just a few minutes. And I was telling him that this happens to me all the time, and I said, oh, is it because you hate redheads, like as a joke? And he said, ma'am, everyone hates redheads. So it was a pretty funny interaction, and some TSA agents were pretty lighthearted about it, and I got to know TSA agents at my own airport because they'd be like, here comes trouble again, and it was like a joke that we all had that every time I came through, I got searched and scanned and whatever. So the way that this specifically happened was I was in LAX one time and I was flying home, and I used to travel with my Nintendo 64 as stuff to do just to, not be bored. I would travel with my games and my original console and whatever, and fly back and forth and play Mario Kart and whatever, because I'm a super nerd and that's what I did. And so I had it with me one time, and I went through the metal detector, and my jeans hit the metal detector. And so in some situations when that happens, they just swab your hands and then run it through the machine and you're good to go. It's a very easy process. And so at that particular time, they scanned my hands and I turned around as if there's no big deal, and I went to go through and continue to get my bags, and the TSA agent, kind of stopped me by the shoulder and said, ma'am, you can't leave. You need to stay here and you need to go through for more scanning. And I turned around, and really big on the screen, it was red, and it says bomb residue detected. And I was like, oh no. So then what happens after that is they detain you in a room with two TSA agents, and they get into graphic detail about, when I get to this part of your body, I'm going to do this. And when I get to this part of your body, I'm going to do that. To the point where they were being so anatomical about what they were touching and what they were doing that I actually made a joke about, can you just say lady bits, because I'm very uncomfortable. We need to lighten this up, which they did not think was funny. So after I get done with that whole awkward process, I go back out, make me stand there in front of, by the way, all of the people going through pre-check. So if I had something in my bag, what were you going to do? Like, lift it up and be like, oh, she's got a weapon in here. Like, what? Why wouldn't you take that into a private room? But they're going through, y'all. They are scanning my underwear. They are scanning my shoes. They are actually ripping my shoes apart. They are going through everything. So they get in my bag. They pull my bag out, and they're like, what's this? It's a Nintendo 64. And they go, why are you traveling with that? Because I'm a nerd? Because I like video games? I don't know. And they were like, nobody travels with these. No, we don't ever see these. We'll see Xboxes, but we don't see this. So apparently that's suspicious, because I like, they're not even retro, but like, I like my N64. It's my favorite console of all time. Why you gotta give me shit for that, man? And so they're going in. They're digging in the whole thing. I was like, if you guys break this, like my heart was, it was not a good situation. So they finally obviously cleared that that's all good, and then he just hands the wires and everything to me like this, and he just kind of dumps them on the counter, and he's like, there you go. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Like, thanks for wrapping all my controllers back up. And so then after that is when all my trouble started, because I apparently, which I found out later, the soap has glycerin in it, which is a bomb ingredient, and that's what triggered it, apparently. And I was on a watch list for like 6 months. I had all this bad stuff happen to me, all because I'm a nerd and I look suspicious because I travel with the N64. So the lesson that you should learn is, don't wash your hands right before you go through pre-check. Don't travel with the N64 because nerds are shady as F. And don't joke around with TSA agents, or your life will be difficult for 6+ months, or until you buy TSA pre-check, which is how I got cleared. Thank you very much. Clear background, not even parking tickets. Thank you, everyone. That's been a story time for today, and I will see you guys next time with a story about my birthday.